what inspired you, or what is your story of becoming an entrepreneur?
So the initial plan was not to become an entrepreneur. I did my management studies, I topped, and I always wanted to make it big in life. I was hired to take care of the sales and marketing of the gas turbine parts that my company makes. But after a few years selling the gas turbine parts, which has the manufacturing facilities, the repair facilities, and rotor overhaul facilities, so then I thought, with such a huge facility, why don't we start, doing something more, automotive parts or aerospace and defense parts? And I got an opportunity to work with an aero giant, and it is a feeling, when your parts are in a fighter plane and you are called to see the assembly line. That so at that point in time, the managing director of the company, Mr. Sandeep, he took it up as a challenge. He and his father, they said, how can we not make such products? We can definitely make. At that point in time, the domestic business that we were doing was about 95%, and the international business was about 5%. I was actually hired to grow the exports. The numbers are just reverse. We have about 95% of exports. We sell it to top clients across the globe, and of course, the domestic business still remains.
That when the first day you walked in as a senior manager, the feeling and the responsibilities would be different. What was the feeling and the responsibility when you walk in the same door, but now the responsibility is different? How did you feel?
So 15 years ago, the feeling was, okay, I'm the senior manager here. I have to do exports, lot of travels, lot of responsibilities, fine, but I'll do it. It's not only me walking. Now बोलते ना सबको साथ लेके चलना है.
Wow,
That's a feeling.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Leading Ladies podcast. The goal of this podcast is to bring you women's stories who are doing exceptionally well across India and to inspire you to become a leading lady. And today I have with me Rinku.
Hi, Amanmeet. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I am in privilege to be able to having Rinku on my show. She is a woman who is a first few in India who is not an engineer, yet she can talk to you about aerospace, gas turbine, and so much more. She's a woman who began as a senior manager in a company and went to take the position of a chief operating officer, and that's huge. And today has built a company of 160 crores and is moving her way forward to launching an IPO. It's my extreme privilege to be able to talk to her today and learn her insights to become a leading lady. Welcome to the show, Rinku.
Thank you so much, Manmeet.
Thank you. I would love to start with this one question that I mostly ask all my guests, that what inspired you, or what is your story of becoming an entrepreneur?
So the initial plan was not to become an entrepreneur. I did my management studies, I topped, and I always wanted to make it big in life. I was ambitious right from the beginning. So I thought I will do something good, I'll do something different. So my first stint after my management studies was at a software company. The company used to make treasury software solutions, and I used to do the sales and marketing for the corporate clients. And this was in Bombay. So, like Bombay is a city where people who dream big go there and start. So that's how I started my journey. Worked there for a few years, learned a lot of things, the Bombay work culture and everything. That gave me more appetite. But then I am a Gujarati from Ahmedabad. So my parents wanted me to be back home and do something there. So then I moved to Ahmedabad and joined a clean energy company. And then I also joined a bank for a very short stint. But then I joined Cortec Energy, where I have spent almost 15 years now. And in this 15 years, right from being a senior manager to a CEO, the journey has been very delightful, full of learning. And that's where somewhere, when I started at Cortec, the seeds of entrepreneurship came into me, and Initially, I was hired to take care of the sales and marketing of the gas turbine parts that my company makes. But after a few years selling the gas turbine parts, we have a huge setup of about 80,000 square feet in Ahmedabad, which has the manufacturing facilities, the repair facilities, and rotor overhaul facilities. So then I thought, with such a huge facility, why don't we start doing something more, automotive parts or aerospace and defense parts. And I got an opportunity to work with an aero giant, for whom we have now made numerous parts. They go into the fighter jets, and it is a feeling, when your parts are in a fighter plane and you are called to see the assembly line, that see, this is what the Cortec Energy parts, where they are. So that's how we started the aerospace and defense division in 2012. It's been a journey where I have made a lot of lovely customers, and I would say they are loyal customers. 15 years and they are still there. I am there for them and they are there for us. So, and I'm not an engineer. So when I first joined, I wondered that how many months I will survive here, because everywhere you see a mechanical engineer and they are looking at you, because engineers, they have an air, and you wonder, यार ये engineers है मतलब, but हम भी तो तोपे sales and marketing में. So I learned. It took me almost 6 months to learn how our parts are made, what material is used, what are the obstacles that we face in manufacturing the parts, in selling the parts. And that's how today you ask me anything, and I'm an engineer without a degree, I would say. But I'm happy to be at a space, at a spot where I am today. And I would say it's been a wonderful journey.
Thank you so much for sharing that in detail. I would love to ask that we are in a generation today where we switch workplaces very soon for the growth and the far side that we're looking at. But here you are with 20 years of experience, 15 years dedicated to a company. I would love to understand the kind of mindset you come with, that you dedicated 15 years of your career to one organization. Was it the the feeling what organization does, or how did you develop that kind of a mindset, that long of a commitment?
So yes, definitely one, the things the company was doing and is doing intrigued me. I was interested that how come, what kind of parts we are doing and where does it go in a gas turbine. So I have also visited power plants, Reliance Hazira and many in India, where I have seen a gas turbine being open and our parts being fitted in that turbine, when there are machine overhauls and inspections and plant site works going on. So I was amazed that we are doing such a niche kind of work. I mean, there are a handful of companies that make these kind of parts in India, and I would say we are a one stop solution provider, because we manufacture the parts under the same roof. We have a repair shop for repairing those parts in under one roof, and we have a rotor overhaul facility. So this kind of a setup is, I would say, one of a kind in India. And the story began, like when this business was started in the year 2000. Some of our international folks, I would say clients, friends, would tell that these kind of niche products cannot be made in India. India is not a country to make these kind of products. So at that point in time, the managing director of the company, Mr. Sandeep, he took it up as a challenge. He and his father, they said, how can we not make such products? We can definitely make. And that's when the journey began, by the company making very small parts. When I joined in 2010, we had matured and we had grown. We had started making a lot of parts. And at that point in time, the domestic business that we were doing was about 95%, and the international business was about 5%. So I was actually hired to grow the exports. And today, 15 years down the line, I would say that the numbers are just reverse. We have about 95% of exports. We sell it to top clients across the globe, and of course the domestic business still remains. We have loyal customers in India, and and we are happy to do business with them also. So making exports a large part has been phenomenal. And I would say that at that point in time, we used to make very few parts. But today, I can very proudly say that we make more than 1200, 1300 parts today. And we keep on developing and engineering new parts, new processes, new technologies to leverage the production capabilities that we have. And apart from the facilities that we have, we also have 100,000 square feet of more facilities where I think that, we have done gas turbines, we are doing aerospace, why not something more new? So the I would say the stage is ready. It's just that, we are hungry for more work, new work. And like Manmeet mentioned earlier, that in this journey of 24 years, we are coming up with our IPO. So the company started with a very small seed capital of about 2 crores, in 2000. And we have grown investing and reinvesting in the company, managing the cash flows. And we've reached a point today that we believe sky is the limit. And to reach that, we are doing our IPO so that, with the influx of more funds, we'll upgrade our facilities, we'll make more products, we'll cater to more countries, make more new clients, and you do something very unique for the country. And of course, to the other countries where we supply parts.
Right. I think the entire conversation that just happened, I realized that it was the why of the business that kept you aligned for so many years is because you believe in the ideas, because you believe in the solution that the business is providing. You believe in what is actually needed, what people need right now.
And yes, I would also like to add here is that typically in other organizations, there is a lot of monitoring and, what you're doing, what not. Here, I was given a free hand. Do what you want to do, but, in the best interest of the company. So nobody is having that constant watch on you or hammering on you. You are hired for something and you have to do something. So any time I would go and give new ideas to my boss or my superiors, they were like, do it. So
Right.
those obstacles were not there, and there have been times where I have failed, where I have done some things which, I mean, where I've made some mistakes, but then they're like, it's okay, we've also made mistakes. I had those kind of superiors, so they're like, just move on. So the learning has also been nice. And when you make mistakes and you learn from them, you get wiser. So yes, you've got a free hand to do good things, and that's what kept me going. And that's how after gas turbines we did aerospace, and today also we keep developing new products. Like as a sales and a marketing person, whenever I meet a customer, if they ask me, can you do this, my first answer is yes. I don't know what it is. I don't even know when I go back to my office how my engineers would react and how my production people will react. But my first answer is yes. And then, I do the reverse calculation.
Yeah.
Okay, the material is there. We have the machines, we have the manpower, we can do it.
Correct.
So that has been, the ideology of the organization, to take everybody along, gives liberty and freedom to one and all. So I enjoyed working here.
Yeah, I think
So
that is truly an heart of an entrepreneur because as a person in the same company grown up to the ladder of being in the higher position of being an entrepreneur in the company as well. That is truly an heart of an entrepreneur that you say yes and then you go back and figure out okay how to do this. मैंने बोल दिया अब होगा कैसे देख ले.
हाँ.
पर अभी ये होगा मैंने बोल दिया है.
Yeah.
So I think I love that energy absolutely. And I do remember, we are having this conversation off record. You also told me that this is without the capital. That the company that has grown from 2 crores to 160 crore. I think saying that number, I'm not able to feel the weight of it, but 160 crore is like a huge, huge landmark. How were you able to do it without the capital?
So, see, we kept on investing the money that we earned, the profits that we earned back in the business. Okay. And like today, we are in a position to buy a lot of new companies, buy a lot of new technology. But then we have done a lot of business the traditional way. Okay. So, if a product would take 5 hours today, for an example, it could have taken 8 hours, 10 hours back then. We were slowly, developing new processes and technologies, doing things the traditional way. So, I would say what we earned, we put in the business. And like sometimes, we have had nice customers who have been, who have invested, in the sense they give us advances for raw material and they give advances for processes, and also it kept our cash flows rolling, and it made the entire, making of the product, right from the raw material stage to the dispatch stage, very easy. So we've been able to manage and grow. But at this point in time, we think that the way the country is growing and the way we have opportunities, if we do the IPO, we can grow much faster.
Correct.
Today
Yeah.
also, we can grow at our own pace, and add keep adding a few crores every year. But then we think that ab nahi kiya to kab karenge.
Correct.
And so now we are just wanting to go all guns and do the best that we can do.
Yeah.
Make more products, and aerospace and defense is a very big opportunity now.
100%.
Gas turbines mein Cortec Energy is a name now. Everybody knows, and the products that we make are flagship products. Probably we are the only customers who are making it in bulk and supplying all across the globe. So now, established in one segment, we want to establish in the another new segment also, and maybe aerospace or defense में भी पकड़ आ गई तो we'll explore another vertical or another new business avenue.
Right, correct. I think हर बिजनेस का ना एक फेज होता है कि आप
Right.
ग्रोथ देख रहे होते हो, आप एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन देख रहे होते हो, आप एक्सपीरियंस देख रहे होते हो.
Right.
And building a company from 2 crores to 160 crore is an expansion in itself. And from there, if you want to fly high, so you need wings.
Yeah.
And I think IPO is that wings is because now you have the trust, the money, and the leverage of
Yes.
people working with you and trusting in you. So वहां से जो ग्रोथ आएगी फिर वो उड़ान वाली होगी.
Absolutely,
I think that is
absolutely.
absolutely the phase of the business that you're in.
Right, absolutely.
Right.
And this is a very fairly capital intensive business.
Right.
So you
Correct.
need to have those machines, you need to have those technologies,
Correct.
you need to have your certifications. We are Aero Standard certified, we are ISO certified, and all these big international companies who are our customers, they come and they do a 2 to 3 day thorough audit with us before they make us their suppliers. So we go through a stringent process system, audit system, which qualifies us to make parts and supply the parts. Because this is a very critical business, we make very critical parts. If anything goes wrong, we get blacklisted,
Yeah.
and we cannot afford that.
That's a huge
So
responsibility.
yes, so we have been, I would say, blessed and successful in making new parts year on year, supplying to customers all across the globe, and we've been very successful, and customers have been happy with the products that we have made and supplied to them.
Yeah, correct. I think that's a huge responsibility because getting backlisted for a product could just massively bring down the business. So
Yeah.
wearing that hat of saying that, we bring quality to the table day in and day out with such a massive business being built, I think that's a huge responsibility you take on your shoulders every single day. Yeah. I think one more thing I would like to highlight, and I'll go a step back. You mentioned about the aerospace industry and the aircraft industry, where you said that that is a segment that is extremely important for India. I think I agree with you, is because if I may, I'm hitting the right chord. The national defense and security is something that is extremely important for India at this moment. Looking at the political relationships, or the country relationships that we have today, having a security force in India with the right equipments, with the right assets, is the most important at this point, is because India is growing. It is growing at the fastest pace ever. And when that happens, I think, if I may say this, there are enemies. There are people who would want to put roadblocks and obstacles. So when that happens, you need to have your defense mechanisms ready. So at this point in time, having products like these would be a safeguard to the Indian forces, is what I think. So I would want your thoughts on it, if I'm hitting the right chord.
Yeah, so see, like you said, this is the best time in India forever, like, in times to come. So earlier, if I talk about aerospace and defense, we buy a lot of these products, or I would say aircraft products and all, from different countries. But because the government is very bullish, and the government wants that we make all these category of parts in our country. So because the government is pushing, there are companies like Cortec Energy and others who can make the parts. We have the technology, we have the manpower. So why not? If we can make in India, why not make in India and sell in India, and maybe outside India as well. So yes, I mean, once we do our products, for the military, the army, defense, navy. I mean, it will take the country to a different level altogether,
That's so true.
and it will make the country strong also.
Yeah, that's what's needed also.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think having this conversation, I have also felt, and this is something I know as well, but listening to you especially, the business depends upon the kind of people you work with and the people you are serving, that is, the clients and the customers. And you've been talking about how you've had such a strong sales and marketing background. I would love to understand that how did you develop the snack for sales and marketing?
So, like, when I did my management studies, I took sales and marketing as my specialization in the last year. And then I was in the field. So, I loved interacting with customers, pitching them products, not products of the organization I was working for, but providing solutions to the problems of the customers. And I started liking interacting with new people every day, whether sale happened or did not happen. I learned a lot from my interactions with different people. Then there is a bit of socializing where you get to know them more, and somewhere, if you're going correct, then you strike the deal. And in the process, like, when you start bagging more and more deals, your confidence goes up, and then you are like, okay, you can sell anything. So I believe my journey of 20 years today is all about that. I can sell anything. So I have sold treasury software solutions, I have sold clean energy solutions, I have sold some banking products as well. And now in this segment, I'm selling very, very niche products, which, it's not a door to door selling kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's something unique that we make and something unique that we sell. So, yes, and again, when you do so much of sales, when you make so many customers happy, it's a different feeling altogether. So in my 20 years, I have learned how to provide solutions to the customers, and that has kind of strengthened my sales and marketing, because I, with each and every client interaction, I know exactly what the client wants. And sometimes in distress situations, I have offered them solutions without charging, so that builds the trust. And I have some customers right now who can very easily say, रिंकू है ना, so कोई टेंशन नहीं है. So then I also tell them, मेरा ये sales target है ना, तो मेरे को भी टेंशन नहीं होना चाहिए. So it's become a very friendly kind of a relationship. Now it's just that picking up the phone and, okay, you do my targets, I give you the best of solutions. So yeah, and 20 years of sales and marketing has taught me a lot, and now I would say that's what I love doing the most, and I enjoy doing it the most.
Right. I think one word that I picked up from when you were explaining was relationship. Is that I'll say this upfront. एक बार बेचना आसान है, पर सेम इंसान को सेल करना, बार बार अपना रिकरिंग कस्टमर बना के रखना, दैट इज द गेम टू बिल्ड दैट रिलेशनशिप विद द पर्सन. बिकॉज आप एक बार सेल कर सकते हो, लेकिन अगर वो प्रोडक्ट अच्छा नहीं हुआ, आपकी सर्विस अच्छी नहीं हुई, क्वालिटी अच्छी नहीं हुई, वो कस्टमर लौट के नहीं आएगा, वो आपके कॉम्पिटिटर के पास चला जाएगा, और कॉम्पिटिटर नहीं होगा तो वो शायद आपसे दोबारा नहीं खरीदना चाहेगा, कोई सोल्यूशन ढूंढेगा. सो दैट इज द आंसर ऑफ बिल्डिंग दैट रिलेशनशिप वेयर. And you also said that you've given service or parts to people without a cost, ताकि वो trust build हो जाए. So I think this one word snack I got is building that relationship.
Yeah, and somewhere perseverance and consistency also. Like, I would not name the customer, but he's a big global giant. So, initially when 15 years ago I approached them, it was just a cold email I had sent, and I got no response. So I again sent another email. So I got a response that we buy these kind of parts from OEMs only. OEMs are original equipment manufacturers. We are in the category of non-OEMs. Okay. So I got a very one-line crisp email. We only buy parts from OEMs, not non-OEMs. So then I argued in a nice way. I said, not putting off the customer. I said, fine, but why don't you try our parts as well? They are the same. There's nothing different. Same material and same usage. You can use it the way you want it, but you will get a lead time advantage. I'll supply the products faster. You will have a cost advantage and quality advantage. I said, if you compare both the products, they are the same. You will not find anything different. So I think after a year, I got a first order, which was a very small order. So I was like, okay, कोई बात नहीं, at least account तो खुला, मतलब sales वाले ऐसी बात को करते हैं, खाता तो खुला.
राइट, बट आई थिंक एक साल रुकना उसको लेने के लिए और क्लाइंट से वो फॉलो अप करके रिलेशनशिप रखना इज
So then one more year, very small order. But then today, I get the maximum orders from them.
Right.
And the person whom I was interacting at that point in time has quit. There's another person in charge. But it's a very beautiful relationship. And in 14 years of my relationship, only last year I met that person. I had traveled all the way to Italy. The office is in Italy. And it was such a beautiful interaction. And that was one day in my life where I made back to back presentations right from morning till night, almost 5 to 7 rounds, because that particular global organizations had buyer offices all across the globe. So I had, in person I gave 4 or 5 presentations, and then they said, Rinku, can we connect all our other buyers, and will you be able to give one more presentation, the last and final round? I said, if the entire global network of your organization is there, I said, I can never have this kind of an opportunity again. So I did seventh or eighth round of presentation, and today all the buyers of that organization give me inquiries. I send offers, and a lot of them have converted into orders. Apart from that particular sales purchase person who was anyways giving me orders. So it has been a beautiful journey. By just one in-person meeting, I have, got more business. I have met more people, and I know, like that buyer introduced me as the best supplier. So I also tell them that y'all are my best customers, and I can do anything, in terms of the product quality, pricing, and lead time. So when I get orders from my clients, my team, this order has to be on time. There cannot be a delay. So I personally also monitor. See, once a salesperson gives the job to the production team, generally the production takes care of it. The quality department will take care of the final product. They are packed and shipped. But in my case, I ensure that all my customers orders are done on time. If there is a delay, I have to be informed so that I can tell them. So I take a personal interest in all my customer orders, so that that gives them more trust, that gives them more leverage ki, okay, we can chill, because order will be taken care of. So yeah, I personally and deeply get involved with my clients, and a happy customer is makes me happy. So
Right.
that's
I
how.
think I have multiple things coming in my mind, and I'll ask one by one. My first question to you is that when you gave that eighth round of presentation, quite honestly, it's energy draining because it takes effort, it takes time. You're on for the entire day, and then you're traveling to a different place. So the energy is different in a different place. What was your feeling when you went to bed that night?
I generally, love to play to win. That day was my best night because I was very happy, and I was just doing a lot of calculations. Okay, if I get order from the American office, from the Thailand office, from the European office, from this, I said, oh, this will be like magic. And it so happened that when I came back, they told me that they would like to sign Cortec Energy as the master supplier. Master supplier means that all the parts that we manufacture, they will buy only from us and nobody else.
Oh.
So this is a very big thing in the history of the company, and we are going through the documentation and everything. So I believe in the next 3 months we will have the outcome. So if this master supplier, we become the master supplier, this will be a very big achievement for me personally, and of course for the organization. So that night was a night of energy. I couldn't sleep. I had multiple thoughts, and this was, see, I was in Italy. I did this meeting, and the next day I was going to Switzerland for a holiday, small break. So I was so happy that I was like, okay, this is the Switzerland holiday is a very well earned holiday.
Right.
And so I enjoyed my work first, 5 days in Italy, and then 5 days of break in Switzerland. So, and like I said,
It's the reward.
yeah, it's a reward. And when I came back, rewards started coming in, more orders, more people connecting with
Right.
me. and master supplier agreement, which will materialize. If that materializes, I can say, I mean, there could not have been a
Anything.
better meeting than this. Yeah.
Right. I would love to understand that, having a meeting of this sort is highly, it also comes with a pressure. It's highly a responsibility on your shoulder.
Right.
So how do you prepare for such meetings? Because when you go in, there are some people who could be sweating before they start the presentation because highly intellectual people sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
The numbers are big. You're talking in crores, and then there's a responsibility to get business back home. So how do you prepare for such meetings?
So see, all my 15 years at Cortec and the other organizations, I have been doing this. I have been giving presentations. I have been convincing the customers to buy the products. So over a period of time, this skill set I have built it. But yes, after COVID, what happened was a lot of Zoom meetings and technology meetings used to happen. So I used to travel a lot before COVID and travel to give presentations. Now what we do on Zoom and Google Meet and all that, I used to do it in person. So that's how I used to do sales and marketing. After COVID happened, this personal interaction stopped, and honestly I hated it. I don't like, working from remote places and not meeting the customer, because see, now today when we are also sitting face to face, it's a different feeling altogether.
Right,
That will
right.
not come with gadgets, right? So, I think after COVID, this was the first power packed and a very big meeting I was going for. So, of course, there was a little jitter because this was a very big meeting, like 20-25 people were going to be with me, all, decision makers, all the CXO levels. And then I'm going to a country where it's very cold, so I had to also take care of my dressing, that my dressing should be such that I don't feel uncomfortable by giving presentation.
Correct.
All my gadgets were properly charged, all my notes. I do a lot of homework actually, and in my initial days I used to do a lot of mirror presentations also.
Oh, that's a lovely.
So I mean, for me, see, somewhere I am a little bit of a perfectionist also. So I think all this has helped me to be where I am today.
Correct.
A small little things which I've done for myself. I know this is something which I am weak at, so let's make it strong. I know something I'm good at. Okay, let's make it even stronger. So today, when I'm given the sales number and all, I never get, I don't panic, or I get, okay, yaar, itna karna hai, ho jayega.
Right. I think I have so many thoughts coming to my mind, but I think one thing that I picked up is that having that preparation and playing by your strengths, meanwhile working on your weaknesses, is what I loved when you said that जो लगता है जहाँ पे कमी है उस पे काम करो और जो अच्छा है उसको अच्छे करते चले जाओ, so the results will be multifold and it will compound.
Yes. So sales and marketing I was always good at, but now I was, doing selling technical products. So मेरे को 6 to 8 months, or maybe I would say it took me a year to understand my products. And these are technical products, so there were always technical queries. And I would, like, sometimes I would not be able to answer, or I would say I'll get back to you. And in very big meetings, initially I used to take my technical person with me, just in case if I cannot manage the technical queries. So this happened till 2 years, initial 2 years. But today I go single-handedly for all my meetings. I answer 95% of the technical queries. Only if there is something new which has come up in the market I'm not aware of, and I've been asked about that technology or that process or something, I tell them I'll get back to you. But once I'm back in office, I am myself very curious to understand कि अच्छा क्या development हो गया अपने field में. And then I immediately, 24 hours is what I like to revert back within.
Right.
Even emails I like to clear, ASAP. I like working from a list, and at the end of the day, like 90% tick mark should be there. 10% I put it for the next day, and that's how I start my day. So I have a lot of planners in my office.
I absolutely agree to you. I don't know if this diary has it somehow, if I'm able to see
Yeah.
that. I have diaries in my
Yes,
office where
yes.
there's a list, and जब वो एक टिक लगता है ना काम पे कि हो गया, that kind of
Yes, yes,
satisfaction
yes.
and the feeling that you get is
Absolutely.
immense. I absolutely love doing that myself, where I put that ticks and be prepared and
Yes.
yeah.
It gives more clarity. You know what you have to do. and at the end of the day you know how much you've done
Right.
and where are you for the next day, where do you stand. So that's the kind of clarity I like in everything.
Yeah, right,
So
100%.
yeah.
And I think the one thing that I'd like to highlight here is that being open and honest,
Yes.
not covering up. Because you said that, and this is experience, that today you can, answer 95% of the technical questions, iterating that she's not an engineer. That has come out of experience. But then, even if you don't know 5%, you don't try to fool the customer.
No.
You don't try to move them around. It's an honest confession that, hey, I don't know it, I'll get back.
Yeah. And sometimes, if I have the flexibility, I immediately call my technical director or my technical team and I tell them, see, I'm in this meeting. Do you know something like this? Can we, so there have been times where I have also put my person on the conference call and that matter has got sorted, in the same
There and
meeting.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those kind of instances are also there.
Right. A quick question. What is the team size that you handle today?
See, the sales and marketing team that I have comprises of 5 more people with me. And overall, the strength of Cortec Energy is we are about 300 people. So out of that, about 250 would be people in charge of production. They work 3 shifts. And about 50 of us are the office staff. That is the sales, the HR, the design team, the accounts team put
Right.
together. So but we are a strength of 300 people.
That's amazing.
And attrition rate is like as good as nil because people love the work culture here. We are like, we work as a family. Like initially I used to say we are a small family, but now, we are a
It's a bigger family.
big family, a happy big family. So once we had a retired scientist from ISRO visiting us, and he was just going to give us I wouldn't say a lecture but a talk with the employees. And when he gave the talk about all the things that he had done, he showed us some marvelous movies and developments that he had done. When he left, when he was going, he complimented us, telling us that I have never seen people in such happier working environments that I have seen here today. Everybody has that sense of accountability, that sense of responsibility. They are at peace and they are happy.
That's a huge bump.
So yeah, and so that's why I don't think attrition rate is like as good as nil. People come, they work, and they go home happy.
It should be, because I remember talking in another podcast where we were discussing that there's a saying around which says that you take care of your employees and the employees will take care of the clients.
Exactly.
So your organization should be happy together. There should be, people should feel supportive and they should feel like coming to work.
Exactly.
And that is when your clients will be happier.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say that's also the essence or the secret of my staying here for such a long. Otherwise, I think 2 to 3 years, I'm like, okay, enough of the same thing. Let's try something new.
Right,
But here I've got a platform to try as many new things as I would like. So yeah, I'm like 15 years here.
Right.
And more to go.
Yes, 100%. Now it's your business. You moved up the
Absolutely.
ladder.
Absolutely.
Now it's yours.
Absolutely.
I would, I'm really curious to ask this question to you. That when the first day you walked in as a senior manager, the feeling and the responsibilities would be different. And the day, you moved up the ladder and was promoted to being the chief operating officer, which is becoming an entrepreneur and becoming one of the founders of the business. What was the feeling and the responsibility when you walk in the same door, but now the responsibility is different? How did you feel?
So 15 years ago, the feeling was, okay, I'm the senior manager here. I have to do exports, lot of travels, lot of responsibilities, fine, but I'll do it. 15 years down the line, when I become the CEO, it's not only me walking. Now बोलते हैं ना सबको साथ लेके चलना है.
Wow.
That's a feeling.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then we are doing the IPO. So, growing the company, again, taking in consideration everybody. And it's not like we are doing the IPO. हमें IPO करना है, हमें आगे बढ़ना है, and हमें अपने लिए मेहनत करनी है. It's, like that. So today it's not about me. Earlier it used to be that my travel plans, my sales plans, my this, my that. Today it's all of us together and responsibilities have increased. पहले it was only sales. Now you have to do the sales. Now then finance भी देखना पड़ता है, from where the money will come. And like today, like I want to invest in new machines. what is the capex, how much money I need, to buy these machines, how many more new engineers I need to hire, this team restructuring karna hai, and something is not right here, how to do it. And like honestly, when I had joined the organization, there were two females. Today there are 10. And
Oh.
I keep telling the managing director that every year I want to add more and more females. I said I'll be happy the day we are equal, 50-50.
Right.
So that's again, a personal dream. Ki I bring more women force, more women power to the organization. And like I said earlier, we discussed, this is a field where there are hardly any women. But I would say that, do things different and do things differently. So yeah, I mean that has been my kind of a motto. So ये field is very interesting, very challenging, and you get to learn more things. So I'll be happy, if there are more and more
I absolutely love
women
that.
into this.
Absolutely love that. And this is the cue to all our listeners. If you are a woman who's interested in such an industry, such a field, maybe you're an engineer, maybe you're not an engineer, but you see yourself learning and growing in such a field, then Rinku is the person you should connect with. You would have her details, but definitely add to the organization, add to the vision, and add to the more women force. And that's, I think, one goal I absolutely love. So this is a cue to all the women listening to us. Please reach out to her if this is something that you would love to take forward.
Thank you, Manmeet.
Yeah, I think taking the conversation forward, I'll go another step back. We were talking about Switzerland, Italy, and a lot of countries. And talking off record, you told me that the organization was more, domestic front. It was doing much more, and the international front was 2 to 3% or a little more than that. And today the tables have turned, or maybe it's an equal ratio. I want to understand that what did you do to change the shift, or to have that exposure in the international market?
So one was like, see, when I had joined, we did not have a very nice website. We did not have the basic marketing collaterals in place. So when I joined, I did all of this. Set up a nice website, set up tools to do marketing. Today also, we have some set processes. We do cold emails. There is a format in which the emails are written, and with trial and order I have developed them. And then what set of documents, support documents you have to give, the facilities that we have, the parts that we make, the team that we have. So it is a complete bundle now. So it took a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of meetings to turn the tables. And at that point in time, like, okay, domestic business was flowing, growing. So we were catering to that, but with the goal of increasing the international business also. The team was increased. I was given the head start, and I was giving the responsibility that okay, we have to do exports also. So slowly, again, took the help of all the marketing tools, approach customers, and it did not happen overnight. Initial 2-3 years we just had one or two customers with just little more of sales. And I think the last 5 years have been phenomenal, because the customers who were there have become bigger customers because they've given more orders, seeing the products we make, seeing the quality, seeing our costing and everything, and seeing the way how we treat our customers. So the same customers have started giving more and more orders, and the same customers have started introducing us to newer customers.
Right.
Okay, so that's how the clientele has increased. And efforts, yes, with the changing scenarios, with the all new AI and everything coming up, we also keep upgrading ourselves, uh, keep adding to our teams. And so it is, I would say, a cumulative effort of everything put together that has turned the tables. And again, see, domestic business is on, but focus is more on international, because yeah, that's where the all the mullahs come from. And again, having a global exposure is a different ball game altogether. For Indian customers will always be there, but I believe that's a saturated market now.
Yeah.
and global market is where we can do a lot of things, because it's a big world, and I'm sure we have not tapped every customer. So that's the goal, tap every customer who needs gas turbine parts and aerospace parts.
Right. I think I would want to ask this question, and this is, my personal question. Handling such a big company with so many members, employees working, such a big number to handle, there would be days where, something would crash. Maybe a client has withdrawn, maybe something happened with an employee, or something did not work out. How do you manage on those days when things are not working right? And this question comes both personally and professionally. When the days are not good, now the days, you were telling me about a bad day when everything was turning
Yes.
one thing after the other. How do you handle personally those days? And when things don't go right in the organization, how do you handle it professionally as well, is what I would want to know.
So first I'll take up the professional front. So professionally, if something is not going good, maybe there's a product failure, or maybe there's a delay in delivery of parts to a customer, we try to identify the root cause of it, and then I am not the only person who comes into picture. It's a team effort. So we try to analyze what went wrong, and we see how bad the situation become, how can we salvage it, or how can we make it good. So we brainstorm and we reach to a conclusion, and try our best to overcome that situation. Personally, I would say I try to do that on the personal front also, but then I think, okay, today just has to end. And I then kind of wrap up early, go home, relax. But in the head, those turbulations, those wires are going on and on. Why, how can I do this? What can I do? X, Y, Z. But दिन खत्म हो जाए आज, for new day, new start, maybe something clicks. So that are the two ways I look at it. Sometimes switching off completely, or sometimes brainstorming every bit to understand where we have gone wrong and how we can salvage it. So
Right.
two extremes, but I use both.
Right, right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so one part of the entire podcast is we go a little bit deeper, is because this is a podcast for women, and when we talk about women, it's just not the business, it's just not the
Yeah.
work that we do. We
Right.
wear multiple hats. We are a daughter, we are a wife, we are a mother, and so many roles to play.
Absolutely.
And we're always balancing.
Right.
So we try to go one level deeper so that women can relate to those challenges as well and understand.
Right.
So I would be asking a few intense questions to you.
Right.
And if there is any question that you feel that you do not feel like answering, please feel free to avoid that question. And if you do have any suggestions, any thoughts, you're open to share as much as possible. I would want to know, and I would want to begin, and then I would go back to your childhood. I would want to begin from the fact that, when you were growing, when you're doing something, people wouldn't really applaud and appreciate you. But when you've reached the top, the mountain, the highest peak, that is when people will go others and tell कि मैं तो इसको ऐसे जानता हूँ. There's a saying in Hindi कि जब तक आप कुछ नहीं हो तो लोग नहीं देखते हैं, जब आप कुछ बन जाते हो तो लोग जाके बताते हैं कि आप इसके क्या लगते हो. So in your story, because you've built such a big company, and you've done so much, reaching from a senior manager to a CEO. How has the perception of people changed when they approach you? And this might not just be your immediate family, this is your relatives, people, friends. How have they changed in approaching you?
See, I mean, today when they meet me, they tell me that you always had it in you. And I have a hearty laugh. And inside my heart, I'm like, I knew I always had it in me. So, I mean, that's no news. And I just thank them with a bigger smile. So
Right.
that's about it.
Right. So that means that is there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit there that people try to come around. They're not there to appreciate
Yes,
you, but
yes,
they're
yes.
there to
Yeah,
pull you down.
absolutely.
Yeah. Like I said, like I asked, that this comes with stress, pressure, and being an entrepreneur is an everyday stress, and handling such a big team is a stress every day. You might not have something very critical, something very going wrong on one particular day, but when you get up with that little bit stressful situation every day. So how do you handle the stress and pressure of building this business and building this organization? Are there some daily practices that you do on a daily basis, or what is your mantra to relax?
So, see, my husband and I, we are a team. I would call us a team. We do a lot of fitness together. We gym together. He plays tennis. I go for my runs. We've been cycling a lot in the past. So, one is fitness that keeps us on our toes, and I think that takes away a lot of stress. And another golden rule between us is that once we come back home, we don't talk work.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and sometimes when even if he will tell me to attend a certain email or do something, I would tell him once I'll do this tomorrow once I'm in office. Now I'm out of office. So we instantly switch off the moment we sit in the car to head home. And on and off meditation, I do journaling, I love reading, and both of us like watching a lot of series or movies. We hear a lot of music. So these are all our stress busters. And again, we feel that there is no problem or situation जिसका solution नहीं निकल पाता है. So, why waste the precious moments that we can do something more meaningful, something more happy, and we'll deal with this tomorrow, or we'll deal with this, like that. So
Yeah.
we keep a very balanced life for both of us, and work together, party hard together, work out together, watch movies together, listen to music together, do a lot of things together. So
Yeah. I think I read this quote somewhere on Instagram where it said that if couple aligns their goals, they are, destined to reach their goal much faster. And and especially this was associated with money, that they reach financial independence much faster because now their goals are aligned. And that is a story that I see in, you and your husband. And I think you've already answered this question, but I'll still go ahead and ask a different variation to it. Because you guys work together, there might be disagreements. I'm not saying arguments, I'm saying disagreements. So, on the days when there are disagreements, and these disagreements can also happen in office, in front of your team, or in front of people, is there a mechanism that you follow to handle these disagreements, or does it turn into arguments and two people working together and having a personal relationship? How does that blend in?
So, see, there are two bosses, okay? One is the boss at the office, one is the boss at home.
Yeah.
So, we have our disagreements in at both the places, but we definitely have the liberty to speak, voice our opinions, and then, like in official matters or professional matters, my husband, who's the managing director of the company, I'll leave it to him. I'll tell him that, okay, I think this is the best, but then you may think of something which is better than this. So, you can take a call. And when it comes to home, I'm like, I'm the boss. And what I do, it's like, my life, my rules. So, here in the house, my rules apply. But I would say we've been very amicably have been able to resolve some of the difference of opinions, I would say. And because we both are mature adults, I don't think so there has been a situation which has been unsolvable or unresolved.
Right. Like you said just a minute ago, that अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो सोल्यूशन तो होगा ही. ढूंढने की इंटेंशन होनी चाहिए, लेकिन सोल्यूशन है वो. तारक मेहता की टैगलाइन आती है ना कि प्रॉब्लम है, अंदर सोल्यूशन है, बट इंटेंशन होनी चाहिए to look at that
Look at it,
solution.
right.
And I think you said the same thing as I had interviewed one of the podcast guests, Sadhna. He and her husband are also a couple business.
Yes.
And I asked her the same question that, how did you manage? And she said the same thing that, we have our roles
Defined.
Yes.
Yes.
That when it comes to this, final call will be mine.
Mine,
When it comes to this, final call will be mine. So you blend in and still have that demarcation is,
Yes.
this is where I hold the final call, and
Right.
setting the right expectations actually makes it easier.
Right.
Right. Now, one of the most intense questions is that, when you're growing up, as a woman, there are, a lot of people who would want to have their opinions on do this or don't do this way or do this that way. Were there any people, apart from maybe your parents, who questioned you for doing certain things, or who pointed fingers at you for doing a certain way, eating a certain way, or sitting a certain way? How was that?
So, see, in families and in close circles, naysayers will always be there. But I did not bother much uh, because my parents were always very supportive. And, when there were family situations, they would just tell that, okay, forget it, family member here, don't take it to heart. They have groomed us with a lot of values. So I have a very strong value system, and that has helped me cope up with multiple situations. And I don't get perturbed easily by if somebody is saying so and so. It doesn't matter. I mean, you don't know me enough to make these kind of statements or comments about me. You have to know me, and then you have a little right of commenting. Otherwise, I don't take things to heart, because from my childhood till today, I have heard people backbiting, this, that. But then, if you take all this into consideration, how do you grow? So, you have to keep all this, I would say, all this kachra aside and live your life. As long as you're living a happy, honest, good life with a strong value system, supportive parents, partners, very good friends who keep adding more value to your life, meaning to the relationships and friendships. That's what matters. And, like, these are the people who will take you along with themselves, and you have to also take them along with yourself. So I believe, be amongst the right people, right environment, and do the right things.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to ask my, third question. That is that, being at such a position of what you've built so far and having all the resources at display to you, are you still judged for, not managing your house, or for not cooking, or not taking care of certain things, being a married woman?
No, not really, because see, I'm a management student, so
Right.
I have learned the art of managing very well. So I have set an ecosystem where things happen on its own. People at home take care of what has to be done. When there are days when there is a shortage, or there is, well, then a fuse in the ecosystem, I come into picture. I do cook, and sometimes, okay, then I'll say, बहुत cooking कर लिया, let's go and eat out. Or nowadays, Swiggy, Zomato are always there. And for me, the best part is that my mother lives very close by. So for me, it's just like 108 or 100 dial karo. I have to call up my mom, and my problems or my situations are fixed.
Right.
So, no, I've been successful in managing the home front and the work front well so far. And I think it's just about, again, connecting rightly with the people, even motivating those people in our ecosystem to do good, reward them well, and make sure that we all are in sync, in tandem, and साथ
Right.
साथ सब रह रहे हैं, साथ साथ सब काम कर रहे हैं. That's how
Right.
it is.
So that's because I think what I would like to sum up is because you don't give heat to the noise that is coming from people,
Absolutely.
and you would like to follow your own rituals, your members, immediate close members, your partner, and you've set systems like you've set in your business is in your personal life as well. And like you said, you've managed in a well where everything is working on its own.
Yes.
When the expert opinion is needed, or when you feel like cooking, that's the freedom.
Yeah, and when that panic or distress button is there, you just have to go and resolve, ki, okay, we can do this,
Right.
like that.
Correct. I keep this question mostly towards the end of the podcast, is because I want people to understand what is the journey you've been through, what were your challenges, or where did you come from, how did you start, how did you develop the skills and the expertise that you have today. Is because when I introduced this question very early in the podcast, people kind of switch off saying, oh, she's arrived, what will I do? I'm just at step one, or maybe step two, or maybe step 10. But what can I learn? This is way too ahead of my time. So I try to keep this end towards the end of the podcast for people to understand, hey, you can get there. There's a journey. Just learn the journey and then you can get there. So I would love for you to introduce your company. What do you do? And tell us that how is the company adding value to the development of India?
So yes, Cortec Energy Limited is my organization. We are based in Ahmedabad. We are a manufacturing company, manufacturing very high precision engineering parts for gas turbines, steam turbines, and aerospace and defense, particularly the fighter jets. And we supply it to the Indian aero giants, and the gas turbine parts. Of course, we supply to a lot of customers in India and across the globe. These are very niche products which are made from various categories of steel and special materials like titanium, nimonic, stellite. I can go on and on. And the expertise of making these parts is also very unique. They go into turbines, and when you look at the products, you will, it's kind of magic that we make these kind of parts in India. We supply to big conglomerates, big powerhouses, and aerospace and defense companies in India and abroad, who use it in, on a day-to-day basis at their power stations. And again, we add on new processes, technologies, everything that we can to build this world class products. And our goal is to, our products should be there with every customer who wants it, in India, abroad. So that's our journey, and very soon we are coming up with our IPO. So make sure you invest, and you are most welcome to come and visit at our facilities in Ahmedabad. We have a huge 50,000 square feet manufacturing facility, a repair shop which is about 20,000 square feet, and a rotor overhauling shop which is about 30,000 square feet. So I can give you a tour of all that we do, and you'll be amazed that these kind of organizations are in India. When we talk about technology and good things out of India, well, look in your country also. We do some amazing things, and that's what Cortec Energy is all about. And yes, with this IPO, we'll do a lot of new and big things. And you stay tuned, be in touch, follow us, and you'll know what we are doing.
Yeah.
And you can be a part of it as well.
100%. I'm definitely visiting Ahmedabad. I'm very close to her. I have that leverage.
Most welcome, Manmeet, anytime.
Yeah.
You can come with me.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I would definitely say, like Ringo said, if you want to contribute to the vision that the company is building, please reach out to her. We will put her details in the description. Please reach out to her if you want to contribute or just appreciate, the kind of organization that they're building, which is adding to the security of India as a country, to the development of the country. Please go appreciate, tell her that you loved her on the podcast. And if you are someone who would like to add to the organization with her mission that is adding 2 women every year, please reach out to her for that. And if you are someone who is interested in the products, please definitely reach out to her. She's your girl for anything and everything that comes with all the products that they're building. Thank you so much for your time today, Rinku. Before you go, I have one question, and I learned this from a creator that you've built such a big business. You started 20 years ago. You started in an organization with 2 crores, building a 160 crore business. Did you ever think you'd come on Leading Ladies podcast?
Absolutely not. So this is the first time, I'm sitting in front of a camera and Manmeet is interviewing me. I mean, I have not even, in my wildest of dreams thought that something at this point in life will come. But thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It was wonderful sharing my journey over here, my life journey, and my journey with Cortec Energy here. It has been so enlightening interacting with you, learning from you. And of course, your questions took me to that entire journey once again. And I'm very happy that, I've been able to contribute in a significant way. Thank you so much, Manmeet.
Thank you so much, Rinku, for your time. Thank you so much. All the listeners, please like, share, subscribe, and definitely share this with 1 woman who can understand that sky is the limit. If women want to do something in an industry today, none of the industry is gender biased. If you want to get in a space that you love, you definitely can. You can become and build what Rinku has today. So share it with 1 woman who will get motivated and inspired to build a business like Rinku has. Thank you so much.